So a very, very big welcome to all of the participants. Also a big welcome to anyone that is watching us either on Facebook Live or on playback. So this session is going to be recorded. And so this is a really exciting event. So it's the first event for the West Kent business support program, or West Kent Business as we're called. We are delighted to see everybody here, and this is really not only a kind of introduction to West Kent Business, but it's a start of some really exciting sessions talking about how we can support and help businesses grow in West Kent. So just a little bit about the West Kent Business Programme. So the West Kent Business Support Programme is part of the West Kent Partnership, and that is a conglomerate of 3 districts, so Sevenoaks, Tunbridge and Malling, and also Tunbridge Wells. And so what they've done is that they've joined forces together with the view of trying to build and develop a business community in West Kent. And I think that the West Kent Business Support Programme has been kind of developing over the last couple of months, but we're now starting to get into full delivery. And these programmes and these seminars are a really key part of it. We will be planning to do these normally face-to-face, and they're going to be done with mentoring. Apologies if it was not from the want of the team really pushing hard to get the fantastic meeting place in Swanley ready. It's not quite ready. However, if you're looking for co-working space in and around Sevenoaks, their meeting point in Swanley is an absolutely fantastic location. We've already been to some events there, and it's going to be open very soon. So we'll be making everyone aware once that opens up. Okay, so just really now just talking a little bit on kind of the subject of sales, and I think that what is probably the most important business support element for every small business across all of the businesses that we've worked with is absolutely about sales growth. And it's all about how you, as a small business, how you grow sustainably, how you grow things like your leads, and how you actually are able to deliver that, given the fact that lots of small businesses are actually operating at the same time. So there's a real challenge in terms of doing that, and it's really important that you do that sustainably, because sales growth that isn't sustainable ultimately will generally not be profitable. When we work with businesses and when we're mentoring with businesses, then it's probably the most important element that they're talking about, wanting to know about how to grow, wanting to know about how to sustain their current business. And as we go into some pretty uncertain times with the economy, then I think that's going to be a real challenge to be thinking about. And so it's really important that kind of sales and how you do it as sustainably as possible is part of that. In terms of West Kent Business, so sales growth is a key part of that. We will be looking at all of the key areas for the West Kent Business Support Programme. In terms of how you as a business owner can benefit, so there are a number of different ways. So the first thing is that the West Kent Business Support Programme is providing a mentoring service for businesses around the area. So if you register, then you are able to register for a space on that mentoring program. That mentoring program it is a fixed set of spaces, and it will be allocated out across the districts fairly. It will also be prioritised to those businesses that come to our events. So those businesses that come to the face-to-face events will be prioritised in terms of getting access to that mentoring. But that's a chance to get either 4 or 8 hours of mentoring with an experienced business coach, and a really good chance to reflect on things like sales growth, like your digital presence, like how you can develop your marketing, like branding and so forth. So that's a really fantastic benefit for this program, and it's also completely free to any business in West Kent. We'll also be running networking sessions, so it's a chance to be able to network with businesses in West Kent, and we'll be running other kind of training sessions similar to this, looking at other subjects like digital, like social media, and other areas like that. I think what we've also talked about with each of these sessions is trying to bring in an element of sustainability into each of the sessions. So the way that we've talked about this is that sustainability events themselves, actually, for business support, can sometimes end up feeling a little bit niche. Because they might cover a particular area, whereas what we do now is we try and bring in a sustainable message into each of the events that we do, so that it acts as a kind of almost like a sort of thought for the day, in terms of a kind of key area of how you can be focusing around that. And I think in terms of the sort of key thought for the day, I think the focus for us really for this is starting to think about sustainable IT, and sustainable IT, I think, is key, because actually where you are hosting things like websites, where you are utilizing IT equipment, actually, in terms of the power usage of your business, particularly small businesses, that can actually ultimately be one of the key power usages that you will do. So looking at how your IT provider, or how your servers that are managed, or how your support is provided, and looking at whether that company is providing it in a sustainable way, using sustainable sources of energy, I think is a key thing there. And it's one of the sort of small things that you can do in terms of helping to improve your sustainability. And as businesses, I think sometimes it's very difficult to take a really big step in terms of maybe changing your power usage, or looking at changing all your refrigeration at once. But if you look to take steps every single time, small steps, then you will improve. And I think that method has been a strategy for many successful organizations across a whole series of different things. So just as a final thing before I introduce our speaker, so please follow us on LinkedIn. So if you type in West Kent Business, then you'll find us. And also please follow us on Facebook, and we'd be delighted to share any posts that you have. So send them to us, and we will share them out. Equally, we'd be really happy for you to share our posts and try and really build up the community of West Kent businesses. Also, if you are not, then please register on our website. You will receive all of the emails once you've registered, all the details for any events and any sort of initiatives that we are engaged in. Also, there's a program of grants that we'll be pushing out details about as well. Okay, so I'm now going to pass over to our speaker. So the session today is a bit of an unfair one for any speaker to do, which is how to increase your sales by 100%. Well, that is going to be always going to be a challenge. But I think if there was going to be a person that was going to be able to talk to you about that, it's our speaker, Mark Roblett. And I think Mark is a really impressive guy. He's a mentor, and he'll probably tell you about the fact that he's as he would put it, he's only been mentoring recently, but that doesn't really give an idea of the level of experience, because Mark is a really experienced entrepreneur, has run multiple businesses before, really understands what happens in business, and he's a very experienced person in terms of talking about the different levers of sales growth. So we're delighted to have him here today. So I'm going to now pass over to Mark to introduce himself. Mark, it is now over to you.
Thank you very much, Jeff, and good afternoon to you all. I've not got much left to say after that introduction, so thank you for that. So yeah, my name's Mark. I work for UK Business Mentoring. I'm part of UK Business Mentoring, and I'm a business mentor. My journey started out many years ago when I was 25, set up my first business, and subsequently went on to set up and grow several more businesses over the years, including exiting one of those businesses as well. But as time went on, I got a little bit more disillusioned by it all, and started thinking, I've learned so much over these years I've put into my businesses. I want to sort of find a way where I'm able to help others that are sort of on their journey and get them maybe to the next level. And guess what? Mentoring gave me that platform. It was an ideal situation for me. So in my semi-retirement, that's what I did. I became a business mentor 2.5 years ago now. And today's seminar is going to be a fair bit about what I've learned over the years, what I did in my businesses over the years, and also what the big guys do as well. So if you just bear with me for a second, I'm just going to get my screen shared and we'll get on with the actual presentation. Okay, so today's seminar is going to be, it's a webinar today, the secrets to growth and profitability in a business. First thing I want to say is just a big thank you, obviously, to our hosts today, Invest in West Kent and Smarter Society, who have put this all together for us and allowed me to speak to you and hopefully you guys to get an awful lot from what we're about to go through. Okay, UK Business Mentoring, a little bit about us. We've been established now since 2009, and we help business owners, partners, SMEs, micro businesses with reviews. We come in and we go through the business, we strip it down into sales and marketing, processes, systems, management, all various areas. And then we report back to the directors and we let them have both barrels, so to speak. We let them know how it is, all the good stuff, all the bad stuff. And the point of it is we try then to put a strategy together to help the owners take the business to where it is they want it to be. We also help with strategy around exit planning, something you need to think about way in advance of the time you're ready for it. And we're rated #1 in the UK by our client feedback on the free index. Okay, so high growth versus low growth or no growth. See this red line at the bottom here? That's called flatlining. Unfortunately, that is the majority of the small micro businesses, SMEs as well, in the UK. So what happens is people set their businesses up usually because they're very good at something or they're passionate about something. They set the business up, may go really well for them. They run it for a number of years, they employ people, things are going good. And then they hit a brick wall. And that's because they don't think like entrepreneurs. They think like technicians. They, as I say, they're good at what they do and they don't really know how to take that business through to the next level. Whereas the blue line here, this is companies that are growing exponentially. So they're growing year on year, their profits are increasing, and they're on a good trajectory by comparison in the absolute minority. So my job today is to get you guys to, or help you guys to start thinking in the way the blue line companies are thinking, rather perhaps than the red line companies. There is another point to this as well that's quite interesting. So all of you are going to part ways with your business at some point in the future. Now, there's various ways that might happen, but you'd like to think you're going to sell your business one day. You've worked really hard building that business up. Why wouldn't you want to have a nice payday from it? Now, to do that, obviously, you're going to want to be having a business that's attractive to a potential buyer. So now if you put yourself in the situation of the buyer, which business would you want to buy? A blue line business or a red line business? Well, obviously, you're going to want to buy a blue line business that can show you where they're going. They've got their systems in place, their marketing, and as a potential acquirer of a business, I'm buying into the future of that business. So guess what? By default, you're going to have to pay a lot more money for that business as well. So a byproduct of everything we're talking today is a good thing for your businesses in the long run anyway, because it will help you generate better returns for your business. So what is it about these people running these blue line businesses? What's different about them? Well, absolutely nothing. They're just like you and I. The fact is they have been able to harness discipline along with a few processes and systems and certain ways of doing things that others don't, that allows them to separate themselves from the rest of the field. And we're going to have a look how they might do that over the next 20 minutes or so. So I want to talk about 7 key areas today, and each one of these areas can make a massive difference to your business and to the bottom line. So let's take a look at these each in turn. Well, the first thing we're going to talk about, obviously, is our inquiries, our prospects, those new customers we're all looking for, that we want to get across the line, turn them into new paying customers. It's really exciting. So we want to find out a little bit more about how we're going to be doing that. Well, obviously, we need to understand and know your market. You guys obviously know quite a lot about what you're doing at your market already, but that's not what today is about. Today is about precision. laser-like focus. We need to take the things I'm talking about and do them in way more detail than we've probably ever done before. So the first thing we need to do is really understand our market. And then what does our product do, or our service? What does it do for our customers? Well, of course, you're already in business, you're doing things. But again, break it down, have a think about it, and go into it with way more detail, perhaps, than you've ever done before. It will help you with your focus on the business and where the business is going. And then we go on to our demographics. So we're going to start talking about what type of customer do we want now? Do we want to work with large corporates? Do we want to work with small local businesses? Do we want to work internationally? It can be any number of things, but we need to identify really clearly who it is that we want to target and do our business with. Then that leads us on to psychographics. Why are they going to buy from us? What are we doing? We're making life easier for them. We're solving a problem. We're making them feel good. What are those emotional triggers that we're going to use in our marketing to get those prospects over the line and convert them into paying customers? Why you? Why is everyone going to buy from your company? What's the difference with what you guys do? What's your compelling competitive advantage, your USP, your unique selling point? Guys, you need a point of difference. This one is major. Okay, when you can clearly show your target audience that you have a point of difference in what you do, your business will start to fly. It's just the way it is. And I put service in here with a question mark next to it, and there's good reason for that. So when I go in and I talk to the owners of the businesses, when I'm doing reviews, I always like to talk to the staff, because guess what? You get a different picture from the staff, and it's quite good. You get a balance as well, and it helps me form a picture of that business quite quickly. But one of the questions I always ask the staff is, what do their customers actually think of them? Why do they buy from you? What do you think why is it that your customers are buying from you? And you know what the answer is? They come back with nearly every time. Service. We give great customer service. No, no, no. Customer service is not a differentiator. It's not the thing that's going to make your business grow. You have to give good service just to be in the game nowadays. So service is not going to be your differentiator. Now, I know in big business or bigger businesses and certain sectors, five-star hotels, for example, Michelin star restaurants, of course, that service is an expectation that goes along with the price you're paying. But we're talking about small businesses today, guys, and generally speaking, service is not going to be your differentiator. So who's a decision maker? Again, you've heard this before, people talk about it, but I want you to think about it in a way you've not thought about it before. That person that we're going to spend our time and effort on marketing to, excuse me, we need to know that they are the one that's going to buy our product or our service. We don't want to scattergun approach with our marketing. We want to be concise. So my question to you, is it time to review your marketing in your business? And here's a stat for you as well. What percentage of businesses have no formal marketing plan in the UK? It's a whopping 90%. We're back to the red line and the blue line. The blue line, guys, they've got marketing plans and systems in there. The red line guys, they haven't. They try things, they'll do that, they'll do this, they'll do that. They don't have a process for marketing to their new prospects. So why don't you get yourself a little marketing plan? This is a template that I use on the left-hand side here. These are the channels to market. So your channels to market could be website, they could be newsletter, social media, they could be trade shows, distribution channels. There's so many different ways that you generate business for your business. So we have those on the left. Then we have the action that we're taking this month around those particular areas. And then obviously we're mapping it up as we go through the months. And by having the first thing is, if you haven't got one, I'd say it's perhaps a good idea to have something tangible. Keep it on your desktop, keep it there, keep it visual, share it with your management team, or if you're smaller, with your partner, or even yourself, but it's there for you to check every single month. It doesn't need to be complicated. Everything I'm talking to you about today is simple, guys, and that's how we like to keep it in business. Keep it simple. And by creating it, as I say, compels you into action and doing it every single month. I have a template for anyone that's interested available. Let me know afterwards. And then we're going to track, more importantly, the return on investment on each of our campaign. What is the point in throwing money and time at marketing our business through whatever channel we're using if we don't actually know how it's working? Sure, some of you sit back and go, yeah, telephone sales, cold calling, or telephone sales, or telesales even. Yeah, that's generating business for us. Yeah, but how much business and how much you're paying for it? Do you know that? Great, brilliant. So if it's working for you, let's invest some more time and some more money in it. It allows us, by monitoring things, to very quickly come to a conclusion whether we're wasting our time or not, and our money at the same time. And this is going to come up a lot today, tracking and monitoring. I'm probably going to bore you with it as well, but again, it's what the blue line guys do, so that's why it's important. Which takes us on now to number 2. This is our inquiry conversion rate. Okay, so we've got those prospects. They're really interested in what we do now. The marketing's done its job. How are we going to convert them over into paying customers? Well, this was a children's nursery that I was called into a number of months ago, run by a husband and wife, lovely people, really passionate about what they do. And the truth of the matter is, I only had a number of months, really, I think, before we would have had to close the door down. So we started investigating the sales process, the prospects, how to talk to their clients, what are the methods and the systems. And we got on to prospectuses. I said, okay, how does that work then? They said, well, you know, we're really busy in the week. We'll get an inquiry. And Sundays is our prospectus day, actually. Okay, what do you mean by that? Well, on Sunday, we look at the prospectuses that have come in the previous week. We print them out, put them in an envelope, and we put a second-class stamp on it, and we send them out. I said, oh, right, really? Well, that could be almost 2 weeks if you'd inquired on a Monday by the time you get that. And for any of you out there that have got children, you will know what I'm talking about, how important education is to any parent and their children, especially a nursery, somewhere they're starting. Those parents are absolutely hungry for information about that place that they're going to send their little Johnny or Sarah to. So that's the first area I wanted to look at. And we started talking then about the actual show round. So we'd have a guided tour. I said, okay, well, tell me about that. What happens there then? I said, well, we're really busy actually most of the time in the week. So what we end up doing is trying to fit it around when we can, you know, when you might as well hang a sign up at the door and say, we don't want your business. I mean, it's dreadful, really. So that was something else that I wanted to look into as well. So these were the stats actually when I first arrived. So the number of inquiries we worked out, we were getting on average was about 200 per annum. And we were converting around about 20% of those new inquiries, which meant 40 kids into the nursery every year, roughly about £10,800 per child, which gave us a new revenue, so new income into the business of 432k every year. And this is what we did. So the first thing I did, well, the obvious thing, we made a PDF available for download, instant gratification. Those people that are interested, their friends have told them about our nursery. What do we want to do? We want to appease them straight away. Here you go, guys. This is the information you're looking for. And the next thing we did, well, of course, we trained up a dedicated member of staff whose sole purpose was to make sure that she was speaking to those parents, got them into our sales funnel, and our sales funnel was actually to get them into the school for that guided tour, because the conversion rate there would be way higher than it would have been if they just had the inquiry initially. Immediate telephone email response to every inquiry to book that show round. And obviously a show round books a day to suit the family. Of course it is. It can't be any other way. Then the tour, we looked at the tour, we wanted to do a quality tour, wanted to change some things out a little bit, wanted to get involve the kids more and the parents as they went round. So they had a really good feel-good factor about the whole nursery as they left. And last of all, I put a staff incentive scheme. Guess what? Everyone's now working together. It's a collaborative affair. And if it's doing really well, guess what? We're all going to share in the success of the business. Why not? And this is what happened. So this is after 2 months, just 2 months. Our number of inquiries, we haven't changed, we haven't done anything. But the conversion rate, look at what happened there. Our conversion rate went from 20% to 30%. That's a 50% increase in just 2 months. Number of new children per annum, obviously 40 up to 60. The annual income generated, 432 up to 648 grand. Extra income, 216, which left us a net profit at the end of £108,000. Brilliant. We can invest in the business going forward into next year. We can have some rainy day money as well. That's not a bad thing. And then we can share with the staff the profits we've made and distribute for everybody and their hard work, distribute a divvy to everyone in the business. So your conversion rate. Do you know what your percentage conversion rate is from your inquiry to your customer? What about your process for inquiries through to buying customer? How does it look? How does it work in your business? Have you really ever gone into the detail about how that process actually works? Is it effective? Is it really working? Is it doing what you want it to do? And then I'd argue you might want to get some people you know, some work colleagues, some friends, whatever it may be, to mystery shop your own business. Find out what other people think about your business and the process from once they know who you are and what you do, taking them through and leading them through into converting them. And while we're on the subject of mystery shop, I'd urge you to mystery shop your competitors. Find out what they're up to. Find out what they're doing well, what they're not doing well. You might want to nick some ideas. Make sure you're different, whatever you do. But find out what they're up to, how much they're charging. Caveat here, don't get hung up on it, okay? Too many business people get hung up about what their competitors are doing. You have got no control over what your competitors are doing. We're interested in what they're doing. Of course we are. And that's it. We draw a line under it. We're on our own journey and we do what we need to do for our own business. So here it comes up again, guys. Continually track and monitor your inquiries and your conversion rates. What improvements can you make to your inquiry process to make it more efficient? People these days, I've mentioned already, they look for ease of access. You're online, guys, you're Googling whatever it is you're interested in. It might be work related, it might be a hobby or something. You want the information instantly, and the sites that make the information you want available to you in an easy to read form and a form that makes you want more information, guess what? They're going to be the ones that are converting the business. Which brings us neatly onto our average sale price. Bar of chocolate, sir. Come on, you've all been into WH Smith. You go in there for your holiday books, I don't know, your magazines, your business station, whatever it may be. You walk up to the counter and there it is. They're all a stack of Galaxy chocolate is, or Cadbury's Dairy Milk is the other one. And the first question I ask you is, would you like a bar of chocolate with that today? It'll be £1. Maybe say yes, maybe say no. Now, what I happen to know is that on average, they take £50 per store per day on those chocolate sales. Okay, £350 a week, right, 7 days a week, £1,400 a month, £16,800 a year. Now, what I also happen to know is they've got about 1,000 stores, but it's over 1,000 stores now, about 1,000 stores in this country. And those of you that are quick at maths have just worked out, that's £16.8 million of extra revenue. Incredible when you think about it. Now, what do you suspect they pay for those bars of chocolate? 25p, they're probably out of date anyway. 30, let's say 30p. They get delivered to store for free. The guys take a box up with them every time they're going to the checkout. That's £11.76 million of pure net profit just by asking you, would you like a bar of chocolate? That's how the big guys are doing it. What are you doing in your businesses? McDonald's, would you like fries with that? You've all been to McDonald's, come on. You walk up to the counter, there he is, that spotty 16-year-old. He can't even get out of bed in the morning, but you know what? He's been well trained. And it doesn't matter what you're going to order, he's going to try and upgrade you to a large version of it. Might be large fries, large meal, large shape, whatever it is. Everybody's doing it. Amazon, linked products. You're just about to buy something, DIY product, for £8 or £9, up it pops. People that have bought that have bought this. You may also like this. Guess what? You spend another £5 and they've done their job. This is me. Last summer, I'm lazy, don't like shopping, so everything I do is online. Love it. I love online. I don't love shopping. I went to buy a pair of shorts, £25, saw it with the t-shirt. You know what? That works for me. Guess what? I've just parted with the best part of £45, but really, I only went on for a pair of shorts. Average sale then, guys, is your total sales divided by the number of sales. Quite straightforward, really. And once you know what your average sale price is, ask yourself, how do I increase it? What else can you do to add value to your customers in whichever way to try and generate more revenue at that time they're about to make a purchase with you? How do you sell more of your products or services that will be useful to your customers? This is where you need to start thinking outside the box, guys. Who else can you collaborate beyond your normal circle that has services or products that are linked quite nicely with what you do that you can add on at your sales process to those clients as well. So this takes a little bit of creative thinking. Maybe it's something you manufacture, you might manufacture something else. But what is it that you can bolt on to what you do and form collaborations where you might get commission and kickbacks and whatnot to your own products to sell to your clients to increase the average sale price. And here it pops up again. You're going to get bored. Continually track your average sale and challenge yourself to increase it. Now, you might use some KPIs here when I keep talking about tracking key performance indicators for those of you that haven't heard that before. They're just a very useful way of measuring things in a business. I'll come on to that actually a little bit later in the presentation. So next up, we got them spending more money with us now. Now, the next thing we want to do, we want to get them to spend more money more often with us. So we're going to talk about a number of transactions and repeat purchases. So this one's about me, it's about Apple to be precise. I love Apple products, always have done. They're great, they're tactile. I love everything about them, and I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to Apple products. They give me a great experience. I get great customer support as well. Everything's easy to use, that's good for me. And also get regular information and updates thrown in as well. I guess more importantly, I've become an advocate for them. I'm telling you how good they are now. I'm selling their product for free to you guys. That's quite powerful, really, when you think about it. When you get your branding right, and when you've got your point of difference right, and you've got the confidence in your brand in the marketplace, and people are buying your product or service because they get it and they get all those things that I'm talking about, they'll be doing the same for you. That's really powerful, guys. That's what we're striving towards. And then obviously we've got the online social platforms these days as well. So as well as me telling you about it now, I'm telling my friends in the world on social media about how good this is and how good that is, and people are sharing it. It's really quite powerful stuff. I'm digressing. Anyway, back to repurchases. So this is what I've bought from Apple over the last few years. So I bought 2 MacBook Pros. It's actually 7 iPhones now. I've got an iMac, 2 sets of earbuds. We've got 2 battery cases, 2 tracker pads, Apple TV, numerous App Store purchases, the music subscription as well. And what do you think I spent the last 8 years? Well, I spent over £18,000, and that's the power of repeating customers or repeat business, getting those customers to come back, giving them a reason to come back and buy something else from you, regardless of what you're selling. Apple's just an example for you. If you're selling services, it's no different. So, number of transactions. What's your initial customer experience like again, guys? Do you monitor it? Do you really think about it? Do you have people in the business? Maybe you've got people that you delegate to. Great. What are they doing about it? How often do your clients repurchase from you? Do you know? And then again, we want a retention strategy, don't you? It's no good selling someone something. That's when the next sale starts, when that one's finished. It's not that one's finished, right, let's rub our hands and walk away from it. No, the next one starts. How else can we sell something to these guys? And then once the customer's purchased it, how do you follow up to encourage their return? Again, what process and systems do you have in place? I know it's getting a bit repetitive, guys, but this is what the Blue Line guys are doing. What about offers to attract customers back? You know, guys, you get it from everybody. 3 for 2, 2 for 1. This is happening, that's happening. What can you do? Be creative around this area. What can you put in place to get those clients to come back and spend with you when they wouldn't ordinarily spend with you? And regularly update your customers with what's new and might be of interest. That's quite important, that one, guys. We can use blogs, social media, we can write white papers, anything really, news articles, anything that's going to engage with our clients, that's going to be of interest to them, that keeps them coming back. And then obviously construct a plan of activities to encourage those customers to repurchase from us. That's the name of the game. Yep, continually track your customer repurchase and your retention activities. So number 5, I want to talk to you now about your gross profit margin. So if I was to ask you, you tell me what your gross profit margin, which I'm not going to do, would you be able to tell me what it is? You should do. It's really important. Your gross profit margin is how much profit you are making gross from the sales, from your revenue. And if it was a barometer or a dial, if it's a dial in your car, actually, it would be the only dial you had. It is actually your barometer to gauge how well your business is doing. And again, I always ask when I go to mentor business, one of the first questions I ask them, what's your gross profit margin? We need to know that. Most of them don't know. And that's not a bad thing, because hopefully I can help them. As I said, it's not complicated, but it's really important to know how well your business is doing every single month. And that gross profit is how you are able to do that. So they think back, those people, most of them are honest and straight and say, no, I don't know. Some know actually, which is great. And some might some may recall the last set of accounts that I had, they've seen the figure and they'll make a number, about 46%. It doesn't really matter. Moving forward, we just need to know what that figure is in our business. So let's explain it a little bit more basically, for those of you that might not be too familiar with it. And I do know this, guys. I go into a lot of businesses, and a lot of businesses turning over decent numbers, the owners still haven't got their heads around the figures. It's really, really important as you grow. What I get from most people is my accountant does that. That's the wrong answer, okay? The accountant is there to supply your mandatory sets of accounts at the end of the year, maybe a bit of advice around certain investments and whatnot in the business, or some tax planning. That is not your accountant's responsibility. Your responsibility is to know the numbers in your business, and we keep it simple as always. So gross profit, if you're turning over 300k in your business, your cost of sales is 200k. Guess what? Your gross profit is 100,000. One takeaway from the other. It's really quite straightforward. And your gross profit margin in this case would be 33%. Now, in the second example on the right-hand side, we've got the same turnover still, so we've still got 300k. But our cost of sales have dropped down to 170k. Why might that be? Well, obviously, we've saved some money somewhere. So let's assume we're buying widgets. We may be buying them from a UK supplier. We've now found a Chinese supplier. We've got them cheaper. Great, we've saved some money. So our gross profit margin has now gone up from 100 to 130k. Brilliant. Our gross profit margin percentage is 43%. That's how simple it is, guys. It's so simple to have a spreadsheet, to set it out for ourselves, and then we monitor it every single month. We look at what's happening. So your gross profit margin is your gross profit divided by your sales times 100. That'll give you a gross profit margin percentage, and it's the true income of your business before it gets watered down, confused by other numbers. It's not the same as your markup. That's something completely different, maybe a topic to talk about on another occasion. And as I said, it indicates how successfully you're making profit gross out of your sales. So if your gross profit margin percentage is declining, that might be a worrying trend. I mean, in mature businesses, you would expect it to be relatively consistent, unless you're a seasonal business, obviously. But let's assume you're at 50%, 50%, 51, 49, 50, and that's all okay. And then it drops down to 40%. The alarm bell should start ringing straight away, especially if any of you guys with bigger businesses where you've got teams working for you. It's a very quick way of you getting to the bottom of why something is happening. And to improve your gross profit margin, what about increasing your selling price? Now, when I do this at a seminar, you can hear a pin drop in the room when I talk about putting your prices up. Look, I'm not advocating you'll run out tomorrow, put your prices up across the board. That's not what this is about. This is about you growing your businesses into the future. The problem is with selling price is smaller businesses don't have the confidence. But when, as I said earlier, when you can show your customers and differentiate what you do from your competition, your customers will know that, and they will be happy. It's a fact they'll be happy to pay more money for that than they'd pay someone else, as long as they feel they're getting obviously the value from whatever it is you're giving them. So you should you should at least be charging what your competition are charging at a minimum. But when you get it right, and when you've got the confidence behind you, you can put your prices up, and there's nothing wrong with that either. There is a side bit to this as well, guys. So all of those that are worried about losing clients, as time goes on, remember, we're filling the park now with the clients we want for our business, that are prepared to pay more for our product and service. We let the clients that are worried about money go. Why do we want to keep those clients? They're not profitable. Let the competition have those clients. They're not what we're chasing anymore. We've learned, we've moved on. And as I say, we let the competition fight from those. And from experience as well, those penny pinchers, for those of you that give credit, we used to give credit, obviously we used to work with big corporates. The penny pinching clients were obviously the ones that didn't pay on time either. Instead of their 30-day terms, would be struggling at 75. So just a little bit there about increasing your selling price. It'll have the same effect on your gross profit margin, which is what we're talking about. So either you save money, you put your prices up at the front end, or you save money at the back end. which I'm sorry, I'm just preempting myself there. Reduce the cost of your goods, so you might get a better supply, better terms. You might outsource some labour overseas, but yes, you're saving money at both ends, obviously, which have an impact on your gross profit margin in the business. Gross profit margin percentage should be tracked monthly and any movements investigated. Then after our gross profit margin, we come on to our fixed costs. So our fixed costs, well, you know what they are, guys, are the regular costs you have every single month. So utilities, staff, lease, rent rates, insurance, cars, blah, 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 blah. It's the overheads that are there every single month, the fixed costs that we can't change, and they're there for us every single month. So our overheads deducted from our gross profit will obviously give us our net profit. And our net profit is what's left. That's the profit in the business. Hopefully the accountant get hold of that and try and mitigate that net profit a bit further so we pay less tax, but it's the amount of money we're making in the business and what's left. Ask yourself, what do you get from this? So some of the services you might be buying in your fixed cost, do you really need to incur that cost? So it's all very well when things are going well, you've got sales coming in the front end, you're making loads of money. Some people tend to neglect, me included in the past, you neglect the back end of the business. Something we did many, many years ago in the early days, and that's very ignorant because it's just as easy to make money at that back end as it is at the front end. We don't want to get too fixated by it, but we don't want to be wasting money. It's easy to do that. In one of my businesses, we used to have one of the accounts ladies actually. So she was given an afternoon every single month where she would spend all of that time looking at everything we had in the business, all the overheads, everything that we had contracts wise. And the sole purpose of that was to see if we're not overpaying for anything. And over the years, that saved my businesses thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds. It's just good housekeeping. Biggest cost, as you know, is typically going to be your staff salaries. And if you want to know what your break-even cost is, so the amount of money you need just to keep your heads above water each month, if you take your fixed cost once you know what they are, divide those by your gross profit margin, that will give you a number in your business that you need to hit every month before you start making money. So, okay, what could be the impacts of the focus on the 6 areas that we've just been discussing? So I want to give you an example business, and we're talking about a 5% difference across each of the areas we've been speaking about today. In small businesses like yours, guys, this is easy. 5% is easy. In big corporates, I grant you, it's a very different affair. But with small businesses, it's really easy to make those changes and see those benefits. So I'm only going to put a 5% change in each of the areas we've been speaking about. So obviously here are inquiries, conversion rate, customers, average sale, transactions, everything we've been speaking about in this example. Well, the net effect that 5% will have on your business is 184% increase in net profit on the bottom line. So how does that look? Well, here we go. Here's the inquiries. They've gone up 5%. Excuse me, I'm just going to move something. Yeah, conversion rate up 5%, average sale, average transactions, gross margin, fixed profits, and net profits as well. And what you'll notice is the overheads have gone down by 5%, and that's because we've made a saving, obviously, there. But the net profits jumped up from 100 grand to 285 grand, guys. That's what the blue line guys are doing. That's how they do it. They implement what I'm talking about, and those are the kind of differences they make to your business. That's the potential, and that's the power of it. Right, so what have we done there? My clicker's not working, yeah? There we go. Right. So I spoke to you a little bit earlier about KPIs, key performance indicators. This is a template that I use. You're welcome to have a version of it if you want. So what gets measured gets done. These are really important to have, especially around sales, I would say, finance. So I'd have KPIs around sales and finance in my business. And for those of you that are manufacturing, they're great to have on the shop floor, obviously, really improve our efficiencies. On the left, you can see we've got turnover and net profit, blah, blah, blah. That's great to see. You can get that in most softwares these days. But what is more important, guys, actually, I'm going to go off on a tangent now, is that you're running a profit and loss for your business every month and you're looking through it as well. So trying to get into those habits. Any of you that are starting out, that are only been going for a few years, Try, and most of the softwares will do it for you these days, or your accountant will do it for you as well. Run a profit and loss every single month and monitor it. It's just good business practice, and it's good for you to get into these habits as you grow the business, because the bigger it gets, the more important these things become. So yeah, back to the KPIs. This particular example I did for a client, we've got break-even sales in the business, we've got our inquiries, conversion rate, and then the salaries percentage of the sales team. So how much it actually costed me to generate that business. That throws us up a load of numbers, and we can monitor those month on month to see what's working and what's not working. So that leads us briefly on now to number 7, the secret but vital ingredient. So what do you think the most important element is for you increasing the profitability in your business? Well, it's going to be you guys, isn't it? It can only be you. Everything I've just spoken about, if the owner's not prepared to focus and do those things, nothing is going to actually change in your businesses. So business owners need to be able to manage themselves, their time, staff, and at the same time stay focused on the things that will grow profitability. And in our experience, it's the biggest challenge faced by over 90% of business owners. So that's why having a business mentor to coach, train, advise, guide, and challenge you is so very useful. Self-management. Let's talk about that now. How do you plan your day and your week? Do you get up, go to work on a Monday morning, and the emails start, the phone starts ringing, before you know it, there's noise everywhere, you're completely ensued. Next thing you know, you come up for air, it's Friday afternoon, and you think, where did that week go? If you're wired that way, guys, try to plan a little bit more. Try to think about what's happening next week, next month. Try and look at the bigger picture within the business. What are we going to be doing? What are they doing? What's the team doing? God forbid, try thinking about 3 years' time. What's going to happen? Where do you want the business to be? And then work backwards. Planning is really important. Planning and strategies are what the blue line guys do, because that's how they get to their goals. If you don't have something to work towards, you're not going to get there. You're going to drift and go around in circles. So as I say, if you're wired that way, it's good to know what you're like and try to start planning. Small steps at a time, remember. Next up, we'll talk about delegation. This one is really, really, really important if you want to grow your business. If you're not able to delegate, you're going to end up being a slave to your business 24/7. Now, some of you might like that, and that's okay if you like that. It's your business and your life, but most of us don't want that. So we have to learn to delegate. And what is important is delegating to the right people as well. It's pointless delegating to those that aren't right for the job. So when we're delegating, we want to make sure that we've got the right people around us, so that helps us. And I know what it's like, guys. Again, I've been on your journey. I found it very difficult in the early days. It was my baby, it was my business, very controlling, and it's hard to let go. What I can share with you, the sooner you can do that, and the more you're able to do that, the bigger your business will become. What about clearly defined structure? Maybe you're on your journey, maybe you don't have that structure, maybe you have that structure. We need this structure in the business because, again, it helps us to get to where we want to be. Everyone has their jobs and everyone's good at their jobs, and we work together like a beehive. Everyone has something to do in the business, and we're working for a common cause. Something I might add, actually, one of my own experiences, guilty again, back in the early days. What a lot of small businesses do, they have someone that's in there from the start, usually quite good at what they do as well. The owners decide that, you know what, I think we need a manager now, probably quite rightly too. And by default, they choose that person. More often than not, that's probably not the right choice. After all, what formal management training has that person had? Probably none. So I would advocate that you go out to market and you get someone in that's done that job before. It's really good at that job. It's qualified to do that job, because that's going to accelerate your journey way quicker than someone in the business who's got to learn the hard way. Now, that person might be really good, might shape up really quickly, might take 6 years. And I'm not saying that's not the route. I'm just saying what tends to happen, and it's not always the best way to do it. Most small businesses don't invest in their staff. For whatever reason, we don't go into that detail now. Big businesses do. And they do it for a reason, because what they're doing is they're bringing up the next generation all the time, ready for the next role within the business. So they're happy to recruit from within. And there's nothing wrong with that, as I say, even in small business, but have a think about it before you jump in. Just again, sharing my experiences with you. What about prioritizing? This one sits alongside planning. I know what it's like. There are things that you like doing in the business, perhaps things you don't like doing in the business. as well, but we need to prioritize. It doesn't matter what we like and don't like doing. What is important is what are we going to do to get us to the level we want to be at, whatever that may be. Yeah, your business should always be a reflection of the lifestyle you want. That doesn't matter if you've got fantastic, huge visions or you just want a little lifestyle business. It doesn't make any difference. We need to understand and prioritize what it is we want and what are the resources we need to surround ourselves with to get us to that end game. What can I tell you about leadership management? Okay, so this starts from a very young age. It's your parenting, it's your schooling, it's the way you started work, and people you are around you all the time, how you start your business. It's everything you pick up along the way. Obviously, you need empathy. You need to be humble with it, show humility. Obviously, put yourselves in the shoes of others, but what you need is vision. And more importantly than having that vision, which is a common problem with small businesses, is being able to share that vision with your team, your staff. That is a really, really important skill to learn. And it's easier said than done. So when you're able to share the vision with your employees, you are actually going to attract a much better quality employee to your business. And that's good for you, because the better quality employees you attract to your business, again, the bigger your business is going to be and the quicker it's going to accelerate along the pathway you want. So you're driving the bus, remember guys, you're taking it in this direction, you know the vision, this is what we're doing. Make sure you're sharing it with those people behind. They're on the journey, they've got families, lifestyles, futures as well. The more you can show them where you're going, the better it's going to be. And then money becomes a secondary thing, not literally, but those people that love their work, go to work every day, and there's an awful lot of people that do that as well. Money then becomes a secondary thing. They want to follow you as a leader or your journey or both. It's very powerful when you can get it right. So success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Okay, so I put this slide in. We were going to do a little customer feedback exercise now, but you'll be pleased to know it's not now. It's been delayed till the end of the seminar, so Jeff's going to take care of that when we get to it. So you've heard me mention this word today, focus. It's come out, and that's because it's important in the scheme of things. You need to be focused. We're going back to the blue line guys again now. They are focused. They're very focused on what they want. They're focused on the objective, what it is we actually want for our business, and then what do we need to do and what resources do we surround ourselves to get to the end game. And I spoke a bit about managing yourself just now. Know what your strengths are, know what your weaknesses are, and surround yourself with people that do the things that you're not so good at, if you like, and you stick to the things you're best suited at. Because those of you that are still on the tools, for want of a better word, still really engrossed in the business, you are going to have to move away from that environment as your business grows and start to be thinking more like an entrepreneur, if you like, than someone, as I say, on the tools. Because again, that's how your business will transition, when you can move yourself away from what it does now and you become, as I say, the visionary and the entrepreneur for that business. So just a couple of stats for you now. 93% of businesses that a mentor help them succeed. 70% of SMEs with mentors survive more than 5 years. 66% see increased productivity due to mentoring, and 97% with a mentor value them. Why would you not want a mentor? Okay, so that concludes today's webinar. I just want to say a massive thank you to you all for listening. I hope I've inspired you. I genuinely hope you can take away and implement something that I've spoken about today. It will make a difference to your business. I'm offering a complimentary mentoring session to talk about your business, your pathway with myself. Should you want to take me up on that, that's mark@ukbusinessmentoring.co.uk. There's free templates available I spoke about. Just drop me a line again. And there's a free copy of today's presentation should you want a PDF of that. That concludes it. I wish you all every success in your business and what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, Mark. That was great. So I will. So I think just firstly to just kind of highlight that, just to say, look, you know, there aren't really nothing is free in life, but I think the chance to have a chat with Mark is something that you should really consider taking up. I think it's fair to say that all of the top business leaders that I'm aware of, any of the guys that you'll see on the TV, or any of the dragons, they have all at some point had advisors, mentors, and I think it's just a really positive opportunity to be able to reflect on stuff. So take that up. If you want to get in contact with Mark, his email address is up, and if I can ask him to stick his email address into the chat. Alternatively, if you message me, or if you drop us a note to West Kent Business on our LinkedIn or Facebook page, we can put you in touch with Mark and arrange that. I think, it's kind of useful to just reflect a little bit on that, and I've always said that, a good presentation, you come out with kind of 3 points. Usually out of most presentations, I've kind of forgotten most of it, but I think that was a really great summary of the key levers, and it is very much like a one of those JCBs with all the levers in there. That's really how a business works. And I think the key things for me were about how you can differentiate your business, and it's not customer service that's going to do that. The next thing was about that average selling price, and I've always loved WH Smith and the way that they do that, and I think just explaining and Mark reflecting on how much that's actually added to the WH Smith bottom line is pretty impressive, given that it's usually a bar of chocolate or a bag of Haribo, which when I'm with my kids is a kind of guaranteed purchase for me. And then I think the final thing, and this is a really important area, is around repeat purchases. So actually the lowest cost customers that you can acquire is not finding new customers, but is actually selling to your existing customer base. And I think continually tracking that, that's a really simple way. And I think that's very much an experience that I've got, is that once you've built a relationship with a customer and they trust you, it's much easier to work with them and to be able to show them value. It's not about hoodwinking them or anything. It's about actually showing them, kind of the value that you provide as a business. So a massive thank you to Mark. Really chuffed that he was able to come along and speak, and so is recommend the chance to get in contact. So what we're going to do now is so normally in these sessions we would have a sort of networking session, and we do networking before and networking afterwards, and that's going to be great. And when we do our live events, and the next live event is on the 21st of June, which is in Tunbridge, and we will be announcing the location at the end of this week. So we're going to be sending that out to all of the West Kent Business Support participants. Anyone that's registered on the website, anyone that's on Facebook and LinkedIn, we will let you know about that, and that's going to be a great chance to come and network with other business owners, with other people that potential customers. So what we'll be doing is we're going to be doing a little online session which we'll cover off. At this point, we're going to close off our recording. I'm going to say thank you to anyone that's watching on playback, anyone that's watching on Facebook Live. Just as a wrap up, just so that you can know how you can keep in contact with us. So number one is to register on our website. So the website is westkentbusiness.com, and once you've registered on that, you'll find out about all the events that we've got. You'll be able to see all of the recorded events that we've got. There are worksheets on there, and there's a great opportunity to be able to engage with the West Kent business community, which it's local. It's a really strong potential customer base for you. What you can also do is follow us on our social media, so particularly LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. If you type in West Kent Business, then you'll see us with our beautiful yellow and green logo. So for all those who are watching on live and playback, we will finish now, and then I will also